So here we have a new 2025 Ford Mustang Mach E. This one comes in the premium trim level. It's a rear-wheel drive model. Glacier gray metallic tri-coat is the paint. And then we have black perforated ActiveX interior. Now we do get the 88 kilowatt hour battery, so the big battery for this car. And I'm kind of jealous compared to my 21 Mach E, but as we come around to the front end here, we do get our LED daytime running lights and the LED headlamps. And just a beautiful, beautiful front fascia here on this premium. But I love this paint. Down here to the wheels, these are gonna be 19-inch aluminum. Charge ports there, you can DC fast charge up to 150 kilowatts right there. You just open the doors by pushing the button. And then power door lock controls are here, memory seat function. We have one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors. Power mirror controls are here. We can power fold those. They do have blind spot monitors in them. And then we have electronic child lock and window lockouts there. It's door handle, 10-speaker B&O sound system in the premium. Headlamp controls are here, traction control, and then we have the manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. But there's the power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar support. And I want to give a huge thanks to Ford Lincoln of Franklin for allowing me to review this Mach E today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But jealous of this sticker price. I paid $51 and some change for my 21 Mach E California Route 1. I had the ActiveX, but I didn't have heated cooled seats. My range is only 305, and they've just come a long way, even with this car being one of the best EVs, I think, on the market. Now I have my front seat adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so I'm gonna see how I fit sitting behind myself. And not surprised, this is about how I fit in mine. So pretty good space back here. Seat back pockets are on both sides. Rear AC vents in the back, 2 USB-C charge ports. And there's a look at the front from back here. Now mine does have the glass roof, but honestly, it does kind of cause it to get a little hot in there. So not really missing that as much as I thought I would on this, especially to get everything else that comes with the premium. But the back end here, LED tail lamps, they don't dance like that. That's just how my camera's picking them up. Quick look underneath the vehicle. We get a power liftgate, which is a nice touch. And the all-weather floor mats are in the back here. But side pockets on both sides so you can keep stuff from rolling around. 12 volts here. And then lift this mat up. And you do have a little bit of storage underneath here to hold the inflator kit as well as the cargo shade. But top tethers for the car seats are integrated on the back of the seats themselves. Now my California Route 1 doesn't have the power liftgate. I kind of prefer that, but you know, it's nice to have the liftgate, I think. To fold these down, just push this in. You can run longer objects through to the front, and then pretty easy, you just gotta move the seat belt out of the way to pop it back into place. And then your lower anchors are behind the cover here. Now, if you're interested in the parts content, there you have it. And then front passenger seat, you get power with 2-way power lumbar support here. And again, in my California Route 1, I have a manual seat here, so. And I'm just really impressed with how they were able to kind of get the cost down on this compared to 4 years ago. Glove compartments here, and the vents are right there. You might have heard them when the camera was in front of them. But I mean, for this price point, only paying an extra $4 grand for that bigger battery, so far very impressed. And there's the front there. Now I do know that mine was a little bit deeper here, so I don't know what's in the way there now, but now that's one of my pet peeves. I do that all the time, even with my car. Always trying not to slam it, but that's probably my biggest complaint about this car, honestly. Because I love mine. I've had mine since basically 2021. I have a little over 76,000 miles on it now. And very little issue, just a few weird things. But let me cut the fan speed down just a tad. Forgot I had it on full blast. I see that's still a nuisance. But ActiveX wrap steering wheel. And there's the horn. Now if I can pull this up. Now, I think it's like a 15-inch screen or something like that, horizontal. But it's pretty neat and it's pretty easy to use. It gets a bit buggy at times. I don't mean horizontal, vertical. But for the most part, it works out pretty well. The only issue I really ever have is with my iPhone. Every so often I have to reset the radio so that it will connect correctly. But again, my car is seen everything. It's 4 years old. I put a ton of miles on it and I sit in it quite a bit as well. But AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. Your charge settings are in here, so you can go in here and configure all of those. So your target charge, and you can kind of see or set up your home and whatnot there if you want to only charge it to a certain percentage or whatever. Tire pressure monitors. Always like having that view there. And then the entertainment, you have the YouTube and all of that. And this is stuff that I don't have. I think I might have a little bit of it, but not all of it. Now over here to the controls, again, you get whisper, engage, unbridled. I leave my car on unbridled about 90% of the time. I like it that way because of the rear wheel drive. It's just enough power. Connect your phone there. The driver assistance, you can come in here and scroll down here. You can turn the lane centering on or off. A few other features, or change the entire cruise control from adaptive to normal if you want to do that. I never do, but you can. Now to your units, you can change the language here, temperature units, the speedometer, measurement units there, and then the tire pressure unit. So I like that you can do all that separately. And then for the cameras, you get a front camera there, backup camera there, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel, and then the bird's eye view as well. But I'm pretty sure this is switched around. I think in mine the bird's eye view is there. I don't know. Not really a big deal, but down here, dual zone automatic climate controls, and then we can decide fan direction by going in here, turn the heat pump on, or the inductive heat, I'm sorry. And then again, this is for the fan speed. I actually liked it better when I could do this and then kind of scroll up on the side. They put it in the knob there, and I don't like it because a lot of the times it's kind of buggy. So it'll have me turn up the volume when I'm trying to do the AC, or it'll have me turn up the AC when I'm trying to do the volume. But again, it's a lot of little stuff that you just get when you live with a car. Now for the AC controls, or the heated cooled seat controls, I'm so glad that we have cooled seats in the premiums now, because the premiums just had heat and that was fine with the heated steering wheel. Of course, my Mach E California Route 1 doesn't have either, and I'd love to have ventilated seats, but pretty easy to do that, or you can set it on auto. Now down here you get a USB-C, USB-A duo, and you can use that to connect to the radio itself. Wireless charging pad is here. This seems a bit better than the one I have in mind, because mine's kind of straight and I can never get it to charge more than 2%, but it could be my cases. Bottle holders here. And then this is for parking if you want to toggle those parking sensors. Hazards are there, and then your electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down and disengage. Now the shifter used to be right here in the older models. I'll show you where it is now after a while, but I like having the additional storage here. Center console cubby space. You have two USB-Cs and a 12-volt there. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. But up here, sunglasses holder. Lights are here. Garage door transmitter. Vanity mirror. And then back to the steering wheel. Your wipers are over here. So you have auto and then low, high. And that auto sensitivity is kind of adjusted there in the middle. Your rear wiper's here, and then your rear fluid is there. And then for the front fluid, what do you do for that? Interesting. But over here, you have the shifter. So hit the brake, pull down for drive, pull up for reverse, kind of hit that middle spot for neutral, and press the side there for park. Okay, there's the fluid. That's how you do the front fluid there. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But cruise controls here, and then you can set the speed, cancel, resume, gap adjust for that, and then the lane keeping system you can turn on or off there. And then Bluetooth, voice recognition, volume, track list, radio station presets. I also like the newer view in the gauge cluster as well. That's pretty nice. Push button start. Finally, here's the key fob. But next it's time to take this 2025 Mach E premium rear wheel drive out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Mach E premium, love the pickup with a rear wheel drive. I said earlier, I feel like it's just enough power to have something that feels like a V6 Mustang, but you can push it a lot more than you would normally think you could in a naturally aspirated car, just because the electric motors tend to be more reliable. There are less moving parts, less that goes into keeping them running. So like mine has 76,000 miles on it, my Mach E California Route 1, and I keep my foot in that thing and haven't had any issues with it from that aspect. I have a few like software things that are kind of buggy with the radio, and I broke the latch on my charge door, and I see that still hasn't been addressed. But you just can't leave the car outside for the most part. But as a driver's car, I really love these. I think these are great for EV buyers that still want something that's fun to drive, that's cool, looks great. And it's one of the things that really makes the Mach E stand out in my opinion. This is an absolutely stunning car in terms of the interior, the exterior looks. It's absolutely phenomenal to drive. And I've driven several trim levels, and even the lowest power output, this rear wheel drive one, has plenty power, especially if you put it in unbridled. Now I'm going to put into engage. That really livens it up, makes it quicker on the pedal. It just moves a lot faster without giving you that raw feel of like a sport mode or something like that. It feels more like a normal drive mode would. But so far the ride is pretty good. Now these ride really stiff, just based on the platform, but also with it being a rear wheel drive sports car. I mean, that's really how it drives. This premium feels a bit better than my California Route 1, but when you hit bumps, you definitely feel them. But I mean, because you don't have a gas powered engine or anything rolling or running, it's pretty quiet coming down the road. Now, one huge plus is, especially with my car having the glass roof here, with this one having the ventilated seats and no glass roof, even on a day like today where the feel like is 100 degrees with humidity. I mean, I'm very cool here. The ventilated seats are a huge help, and it's very comfortable in here, even though you have a black interior. But I'm gonna put it into unbridled and try and launch it from this stoplight here when it turns green. So got a little tire squeal there. That's crazy. Again, mine is meant for range of California Route 1, so pulling out of a stoplight, if I floor it, it kind of limits me until I get to about 5-10 miles an hour, and then it really starts to pull. You don't really get a burnout like I just did there. So I really wish I had this car. It's just, it does everything for me that, you know, the few things that mine doesn't have, I wish I could just take from here and put into mine, because so far, very impressed. Now you might notice I have the propulsion sound on now. Mine, I have a aftermarket amp and subwoofer hooked up, so if I keep that on, it kind of gives a loud droning sound from the subwoofer, so I have to keep my propulsion sound off. But I actually like the sounds that you get on the Mach E's for the propulsion. It just makes it feel sportier, gives you something to listen to if you're not blaring your music. But again, so far this car has been really impressive, and again, for this to be cheaper than mine, that's what's crazy. So we'll probably have to wait until we get on the interstate to give it a pull, which is fine because we already gave it a pretty good one. And I'm really kind of, interested to see how this does if it accelerates like mine does from about 50 to 80. But here we go. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Now with EVs, you have so much torque that you get low speed, specifically from a stop, but as you get up, it's kind of harder to get that same feeling of pull unless you're in a Taycan or a Model S, you know, a Plaid, something like that. But still, I mean, more than enough. Now I do want to give one more thanks to Ford Lincoln of Franklin for allowing me to review this Mach E today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get to the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. And something else I wasn't expecting on this car is having the automatic lane change, because I would have turned that off, but that's a cool feature to have. But all in all, for what you get, I think this is a pretty good deal for a car. Lane centering, quick, adaptive cruise, having cooled seats finally is fantastic. And I mean, this really is still a deal for an EV in my opinion. You're getting 320 miles of range. You get something that looks incredible, something that's quick, something that's fun to drive, and it really does just check off all the boxes. But also from a reliability standpoint, not a lot that you have to do with the rear wheel drive models. And it's just one less electric motor you have to fool with if something were to go wrong, so on and so forth. So still very impressed with this car. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Mach E Premium with rear wheel drive.